Nike giving 7,000 workers a raise, partly to make sure women workers make the same as their male counterparts. And Chick-fil-A will start selling make-it-at-home meal kits at 150 restaurants in the Atlanta region next month. $16 gets you a chicken-centered meal for two. You do the cooking. Tom Busby, CNBC.
Walgreens has good news for anyone managing diabetes. We've got your back. That's right. Walgreens pharmacists are here to consult with you in person and answer any questions you may have about new and existing medications. You can even get free advice from our trusted experts day and night at walgreens.com or the mobile app. Walgreens has all major brands of diabetes testing supplies like Accu-Check and Walgreens Trimetrix. That's not just good news, it's great news. Stop by and talk to your Walgreens pharmacist today. Walgreens, trusted since 1901.
Grainger stands for safety, and they know what safety stands for. S, safety. A, all about safety. F, feeling good about safety. E, extreme safety. T, talking about safety. Y, you guessed it, safety. First aid kits, eye wash stations, fire protection, you name it. For over 90 years, they've been helping to keep facilities safe and people safer. When it comes to safety, Grainger's got your BACK. Call or click Grainger.com to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Shook. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says President Trump is looking into revoking the security clearances of several Obama-era officials. At the White House today, Sanders said the group includes former CIA Director John Brennan, who was harshly critical of Trump after his summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Others include former FBI Director James Comey, former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, and former National Security Advisor Susan Rice. Sanders said making accusations of improper contact with Russia is inappropriate.
People with security clearances are making these baseless charges, provides inappropriate legitimacy to accusations with zero evidence.
President Trump's former campaign chief Paul Manafort's upcoming trial is being delayed until July 31st.
In a federal courtroom Monday in Alexandria, Virginia, a judge postponed Manafort's trial because his lawyers need more time to prepare and look over newly disclosed documents. In exchange for their testimony at trial, the judge also granted immunity to 5 potential witnesses. Special counsel Robert Mueller has hit Manafort with a number of criminal charges, including tax and banking fraud and failure to file reports on foreign financial accounts. Tom Roberts, NBC News Radio.
White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders is criticizing Democrats for refusing to meet with Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. At the White House today, Sanders accused Dems of playing political games. She also said it's unprecedented. Wall Street is experiencing mixed results today. Shares of J.P. Morgan Chase and Bank of America rose around 2%, while shares of Morgan Stanley, Citigroup, and Goldman Sachs all gained about 1%. Tesla stocks are taking a tumble after reports it asked its suppliers for a refund. In a memo provided to the Wall Street Journal, the electric car maker asked a supplier to return money on its payments over the past 2 years to help the company become profitable. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Success Partner presents the all-new Yucaipa and Cala Mesa Morning Market, located on the corner of County Line Road and California Street in the city of Yucaipa. This all-new neighborhood farmers market is open from 8 a.m. to noon on most Saturdays and carries some of the freshest produce in the Inland Empire. The Yucaipa and Cala Mesa Morning Market now open on most Saturdays at 13669 California Street in Yucaipa. 13669 California Street in Yucaipa. More information at 909-222-9293. That number again is 909-222-9293 or email successpartner@live.com. The all-new Yucaipa and Cala Mesa Morning Market, now open on most Saturdays in Yucaipa. Presented by Success Partner.
KCAA, where every day is a great day.
The views of the following show are not necessarily the views of broadcast management or its owner, Fred Lundgren. But then again, the views of broadcast management are, well, different. And now it's time for On the Mark Live with host Mark Westwood. Finally, a show about KCAA. Hot topics, a little locomotion, current events, news, laugh, reviews, and a little irreverence. And you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 3, 2, 1, Mark.
And ready or not, here I come. Mark Westwood on the radio with you. And just enjoying the 106-degree heat here. Woo! It is a hot one out there, I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. And it's not going to get any cooler throughout the week here. So they were saying today was going to be the cool day, but I think it's going to be a little warmer. Well, today we've got some interesting topics. We want to talk to you about some new developments with the Boy Scouts of America, and we have got some representatives here. And we also have my sidekick, cohort, and I don't know, what would I describe you as? Joe Lyons' partner in crime.
Friend to those who have no friend. Enemy to those who have no enemy.
There you go. Anyway, Joe's going to conduct the first part of the interview, and then in the second part of the hour, we are going to hear from Dr. Marissa from Get Balanced. And she's got a new book coming out, Dr. Marissa Pay. And it's going to be 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are. We'll be always pleased to talk to her. She's a lot of fun. She's known as the Asian Oprah. So if that tells you, if you haven't tuned into her shows here on KCAA, I really strongly suggest you do so. Thursdays at 7. And then also we have her back on Saturdays at 2 p.m., Dr. Marissa Pay. And speaking of the heat, Brandon, did we locate that little piece?
Still looking for it.
Still looking. We'll play. We got our CEO has some commentary on the heat that we're going to find in between the segments and play for you, because it's kind of a delightful little ditty that's kind of fun and humorous, and we thought it might give you some relief. So with no further ado, speaking of coolness, Mr. One Take himself, Joe Lyons.
Indeed. We're going to be talking about the California Inland Empire Council of the Boy Scouts of America. That is their full name, which gives them a business card about that wide. But
here's my 3-foot business card.
There you go. Let us welcome Scout Executive Matt Myers, and also the lady named Sol. I guess she is the soul of the Boy Scouts. She is Sol Ruiz, the development director. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
Okay. I think, is Sol's microphone functioning? Say hi to everybody,
Hi
Sol.
there.
There you go. Okay. The Boy Scouts of America are probably, I hate to use the phrase because it's become so trite, but a well-kept secret. They're still there. They're everywhere. I spent my time with them. I've been down to the big camp in New Mexico. I went to a jamboree, which is like an annual, what would you call it, an annual nationwide camp out. Mm-hmm. Mine was in Colorado Springs in 1960, where I was too young to realize that there was a Coors Brewing Company up on top of that hill. But let us begin by taking a look at the Boy Scouts here in the Inland Empire today. California Inland Empire Council, most of the councils have some Native American reference name. Yours is kind of simple, California Inland Empire. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, California Inland Empire was established in 1973, and we do serve the counties of Riverside and San Bernardino. And we are serving over 15,000 scouts at this moment. That's scouts and families, and we're just really making a difference.
It is a family affair, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Now, I noticed especially in the material you gave me, the Cub Scouts, which also still are here, mm-hmm. They're even more of a family thing. I remember dragging my mom and dad down to the meeting hall for those on our regular meetings. How would you say they've changed since the last time, which was a long time ago, that I've been there?
So the Cub Scouts have changed a little bit since your day, where they are involved in a lot more activities. Some are STEM related, mm-hmm. science, technology, engineering, and math, and also a bit more community service, and also a lot more camping activities.
Yeah, when I was in, it was more like we were the little Boy Scouts, and we'd have not campouts, but little afternoon things down in the park kind of stuff. Yeah. Learn whittling and a few things like that. Today it sounds like you've, as with a number of other organizations, things that are more involved for youth to take a look at.
Exactly. We've changed with the times. Years ago, there were merit badges that were more agrarian in nature, and now we have new merit badges like robotics, coding for computers, and other things that kids want to do and are interested in. So the Boy Scouts of America has changed over time to meet the needs of young people and put them on a career path and a good path to the future.
Yeah, when they were founded, which was well over 100 years ago, by a British gentleman named Lord Baden-Powell, basically it was like camping out for kids, right?
Right.
Is that a little too simplistic?
Well, Lord Baden-Powell helped found the Boy Scouts, and then William Boyce brought it to the United States just over 108 years ago. And we've been growing quite a bit ever since, and continue to grow here in the Inland Empire, as Sol mentioned, serving about 15,000 families. It's a family-based program, and again, developing character, good citizenship, and preparing kids for the future.
I'm going to ask a dumb question. What was going on here before 1973? Were there no Boy Scouts?
Oh, no, there were scouting around. It's just there was different councils in the area, and we merged together to form the California Inland Empire Council. Yes.
Okay, so that makes more sense. Some things have not changed. I look at the Scout Oath and the Scout Law, and those are exactly as I remembered them, so that much has not changed.
Correct.
In these times, we find that a lot of people get critical of one thing or another and say, well, that should be there. Let's make some changes. The Boy Scouts has pretty well stayed solid to their traditions, have they not?
We have, yeah. We've recently, many people probably heard that we went through a name change, and I want to clear that up right now. The Boy Scouts of America are still known as the Boy Scouts of America. There are programs within the Boy Scouts of America, like Cub Scouts, that's grades K through 5, and then Boy Scouts, that's grades 6 through 12, and then Exploring, which is ages 14 to 20. So those programs fall underneath the Boy Scouts of America. And the part that changed, or that will change in 2019, is the Boy Scout part. They'll just be known as Scouts, and that's because young ladies will be joining that part.
So are there still going to be Girl Scouts with the cookies? Tell me there'll still be Girl Scouts with the cookies.
I assume so. We don't have any.
There's
inside.
not a person here that isn't crazy for the Thin Mints.
Well, we sell popcorn, so let me drop some popcorn.
Yes,
we lived on those things.
Yes,
for about a year here at KCAA.
Well, we'll be happy to share some popcorn with you. It's
okay,
much more nutritious.
Oh, good. There are two things here that sound new to me: venturing and exploring. Can you explain a little bit about those?
I'll let Sol.
All right. Well, venturing is our high adventure-based program, and we've always accepted young girls in this program. And it's more of your hiking, outdoor adventure, thrill seekers. A river rafting, maybe. Our Learning for Life, our exploring program, that's a career-based program. It's something that we're really focusing on here in the Inland Empire, because we're helping break that poverty cycle. It's giving youth the opportunity to get their hands on a career, of their choice. It could be police, sheriffs, fire. There's also, great news to share with you. We just awarded a $5,000 scholarship for the Aviation Explorer program for one of our local youths here. And he has decided he wants to continue his career in aviation.
Going to the Air Force?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So the thing to realize with venturing and exploring is young ladies have been in the program for over 50 years.
Yes.
Right.
So in that part of the program, and now they're going to be in all parts of the program.
Yeah. Was this something a natural evolution, or was it a political pressure thing, or just its time had come?
It's partially its time had come. We talked to a lot of existing families within the Boy Scouts of America and families outside of the Boy Scouts of America, and after talking to 30,000 of each group, what we realized is young parents want one program for their son and their daughter.
It's almost like a convenience thing, right?
Yes.
So it maintains the family concept by them all going off to the same events and meetings and such. One thing I do want to make mention before we run out of time and Mark moves in on me again.
Oh, no. You have plenty of time.
He's not even here.
He's accusing me of something I don't do.
He just hovers over the radio station in the roof. But so
my job.
You've got a golf tournament coming up.
Absolutely. So we would like to extend a special invitation to all the golfers out there. And even if you're not a golfer, if you have friends who do enjoy the golf, come out, help support the Boy Scouts. We have a 10th annual golf invitation. That's being held on Friday, August 10th. That's at the Los Serranos Country Club located in Chino Hills, California. And this helps us raise scouting awareness dollars, scouting growth dollars. But we're bringing awareness to the scouting program. And we're, the participation and sponsorship, that is helping us make a stronger impact here in the Inland Empire.
Am I going to wind up against some 12-year-old kid that's got a 300-yard drive?
I would love to be able to say yes. But you know what? I can guarantee that it'll be you will be out there before it gets too hot.
Right.
And you will have a great time.
And we'll still be out there when it is hot.
You know what? It won't be too bad.
It'll be an even match anyway.
Yeah. We had a lot of great participation last year, and folks had a blast. And we invite everybody to join us. For more information, you can reach our website, which is bsa-ciec.org. Look up Boy Scouts here in Redlands, California, and I'll be more than happy to address any questions, help you get signed up. And again, that's Friday, August 10th, with an early shotgun start of 7:45 a.m.
Oh, dear. And if you do have a 12-year-old kid with a 300-yard drive, make sure he gets on my scramble team.
That's all right.
So tell us what a shotgun start is, Joe.
A shotgun start is when there are teams on all 18 holes, and they all go off at the same time. That way they all – but now if
it sounded like something that,
No, it's not. It's shotgun start, four-man scramble, and the most important part is the first liar doesn't stand a chance. But
and I'd just like to say that all the money raised here stays here to go to support kids in the Inland Empire, send them to camp, get them into the program, and make sure that they have the positive experience.
That's an important thing for a lot of people because a lot of fundraising, all of which is doing some good, but a lot of it goes back east to some White Plains, New York organization. The fact that the money raised by Boy Scouts is for Boy Scouts here in the Inland Empire means that you're contributing to the immediate needs of what's going on.
Absolutely.
Who sponsors the individual Scout troops? I know when I was a kid, it was a school, it was a church, it was a group of parents. It was a little bit of anybody who had a room for the kids to sit down and listen.
It's still that way. Churches, organizations like the VFW, and also schools can partner. So we call it a partnership now with different troops and packs, and it strengthens the community when they know they have a hand in this unit. So it's the way we start units and create that bond.
My wife has worked in nonprofit for most of her adult life, and she knows as goes the economy, so goes donations for nonprofits. And she, like everybody, went through 2008. Bad times, and now things are getting better all the way around. But it seems like the more need there is, the less there is available to help it. Do you get that too?
At times, yes, and it is hard. But we have our scouting families who do support the program. We do have all of our board members and our great staff who really believe in the program and also give. We do get community support, and we do reach out to local foundations. And golf tournaments and other events such as our distinguished citizen dinners that are held throughout the council. Honoring civic-minded folks that have lived and really operated their life living according to the Scout Oath and Law.
So I got a question for you. Do you find a lot? He's talking about donations and things like that. That you have more or less parent involvement, or do you need more or less parent involvement in?
I think we could always use a lot more parent involvement because you got to realize that our organization is ran by volunteers.
And so are you finding that more parents, some parents are working more than one job. Is it harder, more difficult, and under those circumstances to volunteer?
It is, especially when we're trying to reach out to all those youth who really need that male support figure or just something that helps them, prepare for tomorrow with those leadership skills and helping them with their self-confidence. There's a lot of single parents out there who are working hard.
That's why the Scouts are so valuable now because, sometimes there's parents that are also working 3 jobs.
Absolutely.
And in this economy where, you got to struggle to keep up and rents are so high and gas is so high and we've got, 9th year solid and inflation solid going. It's hard, but the Scouts can provide some of that parental guidance and helpful. That's why it's so helpful to have Scouts in there. So the Boy Scouts, they have dues, do they?
They have a one-time annual registration fee. And and that cost is very, it's $32.
That's pretty minimal.
$33 a year, and that's across the board with our, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, and Learning for Life, which again is your hands-on experience. Gives you an opportunity to really test out something. I call it try before you buy. And
$32 is just very minimal when you consider the federal government's giving a lot less to the schools now, and the schools are providing a lot less and a lot more fees for being a water polo or band or whatever you're doing. $32 is a deal.
That's your annual registration fee. Of course, there's a uniform. But we did talk a little bit earlier about popcorn. You'll start seeing our local Boy Scouts at the local.
You were serious?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
We got popcorn coming.
Beginning August, you'll start seeing our Boy Scouts in uniform. And what they're hoping for your support is helping them fund their adventure, their year of scouting, their ideal year of scouting with zero out-of-pocket expense for the parents.
With the weather we have today, we can take the popcorn out in the parking lot and
It would pop by itself. Yes, it would.
You mentioned uniforms. When I was in, I hate to keep going back to when I was.
No, absolutely. Please do share.
Back at the turn of the century.
Yes, and that not the last century either, but the one before that. We wore full uniforms. We had Boy Scout shirts and Boy Scout pants. And today, I see the kids got the shirts. They run around in jeans and tennies and whatever. Is that because it's a little more relaxed, or just a question of cost?
We encourage a full uniform, but we want kids to participate. We don't want the uniform to be a barrier on participation. But if you want the full uniform, and we leave it up to the units, but most of the awards go on the shirt. There's not a lot that goes on the pants, if anything.
More reason to buy more popcorn.
Yeah,
that's right.
Speaking of cost, do they still have the Boy Scout handbook?
We do, and I was going to bring you one today. But
would love to compare that to what they. It's a little book, but it's got everything. It's got all your first aid, how to start a fire, all kinds of little wonderful things that you need to know when you're an 8-year-old boy out in the woods.
That's right.
Everybody should have one. So tell me about venturing and exploring. We mentioned them as. These are newer programs that I'm used to.
Go ahead.
Well, let's see. What can I tell you about venturing? I'll tell you, we talk about girls joining the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, in the year 2019. But, these girls have been sitting on the sidelines all along. Their brothers are there at the programs, and they want to be a part of it. So now with the venturing, they have been a part of it. They're going on hikes, and they're, still just being involved and learning about nature. And just helping them, get that outdoor thrill experience.
Am I right to think that a lot of what was going on was really a redundancy? The girls are doing the same thing the boys are doing. Why not do them together?
Yes. Well, now the younger girls will have the opportunity to be a part of the Cub Scout program and start earning, their little awards, and participate in all these great teaching opportunities and learning opportunities. But best of all it's just learning that self-confidence, and I'm going to tell you the greatest joy for me working with Scouts, and I have 2 girls. I don't have any boys, but I've been out, visiting units, and to see these boys, the way they have this confidence to go up in front of an audience where, you have kids in high school who have a hard time getting up, but they're learning all of these self-confidence building experiences that allow them to get out there and do this.
I have to imagine in the Me Too era that it's also giving these kids a better sense of how to interact, how to relate with girls. Well, when I was that age, that was about what it was. But today they learn that. They learn some of the other things that are going on right now that are kind of probably confusing, and certainly were for a kid when I was a kid, and certainly are still today for me.
I'm not even going to go there.
I got there before you did. I knew that would.
No, but seriously, the Scouts are such a great organization.
Indeed.
And I'm already calling them the Scouts. I think that's a wonderful thing that has happened with the inclusion of girls. They can do the same kinds of projects. They can go hiking. They can build campfires. They can do all those kinds of things that maybe they were limited to before in the Girl Scouts. And it's now, together and equal or more equal. So that will be a great thing, because that's what ultimately the Scouts is supposed to teach.
Yes.
You bet.
And, it's a wonderful program. We love the Scouts, and we'll figure out here on KCAA how to support them more.
Well, we
appreciate that.
If only to mention what's going on. We've been telling them about the golf tournament coming up.
Yes.
Thank you.
More about the organization and stuff. Didn't get to ask you about, you have local camps I talked about
We
the
do.
big ones in like New Mexico and such. You've got
Yeah.
local camps. They're up in the hills, I
Yes,
take it?
in Idlewild, we've got a camp right now that has about 300 scouts at it while we're speaking, and for the last couple of weeks, it's had 300. So it's
awesome.
it's got canoeing, it's got climbing, it's got hiking and rifle range and archery and all the things that a boy would want to do. And
cooler temperature.
and
too,
it's
though.
about 75 degrees up there.
We need to go camping.
Let's go. Let's go. How do they
by
have
for a
adult
visit.
scouts?
Come by for a visit.
We're going to run out of time here, and Mark's got some more things to talk about. We have been talking about the Boy Scouts here in the Inland Empire. Their golf tournament comes up on Friday, August 10th at Los Serranos, which is over in Chino Hills.
Chino
Yeah,
Hills.
okay. And also the other activities that they have. The Scout Oath and the Scout Law have not changed. Some things are forever. That's a good thing. So our thanks to Matt Myers and to Sol Ruiz, who've been
Thank
our
you.
guest in this portion of Mark's show,
Thank you,
with me guesting, and Mark will be back as if he never left,
Well,
because he's got some more things to talk
It's
about
called
today.
On the Mark. I don't know how to do it.
Good point. On the Joe would make no sense at all. Stand by. We'll be right back.
Well, just a second here.
Oh.
Thank you, Joe, and I appreciate you interviewing the segueing for me, but it's hot outside, and we have this wonderful little feature here from our CEO, Fred Lundgren, that we want to squeeze in here. And since one of our Scout Taskmasters or Scout Masters, or what is your official title, sir?
Scout Executive.
Scout Executive, that's even higher.
Yeah.
Scout Executive, and I enjoy is we're both from Texas. And so is our corporation based in Texas.
Yes.
And the owner of the station is in Houston, Texas, in a place called Katy, Texas. Have you ever heard of that place
I have,
before?
yep.
And he's been dying for us to play this. And today seems like a very apropos time to play Texas is Hotter Than Hell.
This is Fred Lundgren, CEO of this radio station, and I can tell you why it's been so hot in Texas, and it's not what the weathermen say. In fact, the devil wanted a place on earth. He wanted sort of a summer home, a place to spend a warm vacation anytime he chose to roam. So the devil picked Texas, a place so hot, so wretched and rough. The climate was just to his liking. It was easy to run it amuck. He dried up the streams and the canyons again and ordered no rain to fall. He dried up the lakes and the valleys and then baked and scorched it all. Over his barren country, he transplanted shrubs from hell. The cactus, mesquite, cedar, and locust. The climate suited them well. The climate and vegetation was just perfect, but animal life he had none. So he conjured up some awful creatures that all God-fearing Texans would certainly shun. First, he made the rattlesnake with its forked and poisonous tongue. He taught it to strike and rattle, and even to enjoy eating its young. Then he made copperheads, moccasins, and lizards, and even horny toads. He added spiders and ants of every description to sting you when you walk down the side of the road. Then, when he thought God wasn't watching, he ordered the sun to shine hotter and hotter still, until the mesquite and the cactus wilted, and the horny toad took ill. Then he gazed upon his hellish kingdom, as any demon would. He chuckled and growled in his deep, horrible voice, "This is good." 'Twas August of that summer, as Satan lay by a dying prickly pear in a meadow without hay. The sweat rolled off his swarthy brow, so he took off his coat and vest. "My God," he panted, "I did my job too well. I'm going back where I came from, because Texas is hotter than hell."
And the intro back into the show. Bum, bum, ba, da, 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 da. I was expecting the intro, but I guess not. And Brandon just looked at me and nodded his head like, "You're on, Mark." Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, and welcome back to the second part of On the Mark. We enjoyed having the executive director for the Boy Scouts, now called the Scouts of America, and his assistant, and thank you to Joe Lyons for conducting that interview. I'm Mark Westwood with On the Mark here every Monday at 3 p.m., and we cover a variety of subjects. And now we are going to cover another great subject. One of my favorite subjects is a client of ours here, and her name is Dr. Marissa Pay, and I want to say hello to Dr. Marissa. Hello, Dr. Marissa.
Hello, Mark, on the Mark Westwood.
Yes, that is the name of the show, On the Mark. And Marissa, you've been traveling a little bit. First of all, for our folks that don't maybe possibly tune in at that time, your show is on Thursday at 7 o'clock, faithfully for like the last 3-4 years. And then also we have it on at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturdays as a repeat, just in case you missed that. Or you can listen to Dr. Marissa Pei by going onto our website at kcaaradio.com, and you can find her podcast there right under her name and her beautiful picture. You can listen to a show anytime you want, anywhere you want, whether it's in your bunny slippers at night at 3 a.m. in the morning or at 5 a.m. in the morning as you're jogging on the treadmill at one of your local fitness places. So listen and tune in. You're always better off when you listen to the Asian Oprah, Dr. Marissa Pei. And you have a show.
Aw, thank you.
Thank you. You've been traveling a little bit.
Yes, I have been. And by the way, the title of the show is called Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It.
And I said Get Balanced. It was a former Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. That's right. I use shorthand everywhere I go, and I get caught by that sometimes. But yeah.
Well, I kind of like to hear people laugh, so that usually gets a little bit of a giggle. And yes, I have been traveling. I've been gone for 5 weeks and a day. I just returned yesterday at 1 in the morning, and jumping back into a wonderful upcoming book launch. But I was on tour, speaking tour and book tour in Europe, in France and Italy and London and Brussels and Prague and Barcelona. So
you didn't take me? Oh my gosh!
I didn't take you. I didn't. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It was just I only had one suitcase, believe it or not, for that entire trip, and I am grateful for just. It was an amazing trip. I'm a little discombobulated. I'm not quite sure what day it is, but I'm glad to be home.
It's Monday.
And now it is Monday. I do a meditative minute with Dr. Marissa in the morning on my Facebook, and I said it was Tuesday morning this morning.
I got to share with our listeners. Thank God you stayed in this hemisphere. Obviously, because last year you went out of the hemisphere and you were beneath the equator a little bit or on the other side of the world, and you got kind of confused sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, where's my show? Well, it's not until today.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I'm like, not happy.
She thinks it's Thursday, and it's only Wednesday here. Because it's Thursday where she's at. Yeah, that's kind of funny.
I was embarrassed. All right. I'm 88% perfect.
Yeah, and, we want to make you 88% happy.
That's right. And that's exactly the point of the book that is being released on August 7th. It's called 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are, and it's published by Morgan James in New York, and the foreword's written by Michael Bernard Beckwith, one of the teachers from The Secret,
Impressive.
And the founder of Agape, and it's been endorsed by Neil Donald Walsh, New York Times mega best-selling author, and Layla Ali, daughter of Muhammad Ali, Marianne from Gilligan's Island,
Don Wells,
Don's mom, Don Wells, and writers from Forbes and Inc. and Aaron Saxon, who's the multi-nominated Emmy Award-winning producer of The View, and Barbara Walters. So I am really blessed to have quite support, a lot of support. A lot of them are my past guests on my show, which is good. That means they enjoyed it, and it's really a book aimed at the 1 in 4 Americans who are currently on anti-anxiety and anti-depression medication. They're still anxious and depressed, and now have dangerous side effects, which are actually main effects on top of that. So, in the recent news with the unfortunate passing of Kate Spade and the Anthony Bourdain, it really kind of highlighted the side effects.
There is always a trade-off.
It is. It is.
These wonder drugs always have a trade-off. And what a lot of people don't realize is they're just not something that, if you change something one way in your body, something else is going to change. And that trade-off can be a really kind of a dangerous side effect.
It's happened to one of my life balance coaching clients, and I don't think that people, they kind of laugh at the side effects when they talk about it in commercials, but the reality is sometimes the side effects are worse than the actual original issue or problem or symptom. And I really, really was starting to get super concerned. Now, here's the caveat. I'm not saying that there aren't some people who really benefit from it and don't have the side effects, so I don't want to, ruffle any feathers, but I do know more people who are still anxious and depressed and realizing that the magic pill maybe was just a little Band-Aid. And so this book offers exercises and a framework to really look at past pain and future fear and dig out the shiitake and find the seed that's the beautiful you and then put it back as fertilizer to grow.
I remember when I had an opportunity to counsel young teens at one point in my life. And they would come to me and they'd say, I'm so depressed, I just can't figure life out, and I just don't know. And, some of them were very serious and underadvantaged and economically disadvantaged. They didn't have a lot of access to drugs or medications or anything else. They just wanted to know what they're doing. The first things I would ask is, when was the last time you had 8 hours of sleep in a row, at least? How many meals did you have today that involved the food groups that you're supposed to have? Protein, carbohydrates, all that kind of stuff. And, when was the last time you did any kind of exercise? And most of them would go, I says, okay, so I want you to do me a favor and just go out and, jog around the block a couple of times, get your endorphins going, and get some sleep tonight, and don't eat anything from a fast food restaurant. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. And they looked at me like I was like talking from another planet. But the ones that followed me had a miraculous change in their outlook and in their life. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's a tendency to, when you're not feeling good and you focus on not feeling good, you'll feel less good and less good and less good. And then soon you're, feeling so hopeless and that you can't see any light at the end of the tunnel except that which is coming from an oncoming train. So this book also addresses the 7 out of 10 of us who have had trauma in our upbringing, and it's really interesting. Psychology research says 7 out of 10. My honorable moniker, Oprah, says it's high as 8 out of 10. So why is it that the 3 out of 10 who have had a normal, healthy childhood have life, have the keys to life? Because a lot of us who have had past pain or trauma end up saying, well, I'm never going to catch up, or there's something wrong with me, or we'll believe those negative messages that we got when we were young, that we were worthless or good for nothing, and that we would never amount to anything. And so many of us come to that midlife opportunity phase, I don't call it midlife crisis, but that opportunity to really re-examine some of those messages that we keep playing out and sabotaging ourselves with in life.
Oh, yeah.
And so the chapters, out of loneliness into hope, out of heartbreak into love, out of fear into freedom, to name a few, are specifically pointed to look at, out of hatred into forgiveness, those places that we may have gotten stuck in based on past pain and or future fear that are getting in our way of being happy 88% of the time.
Which leads me to the question.
Okay. Yeah.
Which leads me to the question. I know there's 88 keys on a piano keyboard.
Right.
And I love the piano. And I love to hear piano and love to play the piano. So I know that makes me happy. But how did you come up with the 88%?
Well, if you're 100% happy, you're dead. So we don't want that.
Oh, no.
Because, we have to be somewhat, not happy some of the times for contrast, because we're here to grow and expand. And the specific number 88, for those of you who've heard my shows, know that 8's a lucky number in Mandarin or in Chinese. And I know I thought you thought I was Swedish, but I'm actually Chinese. Even though I'm talking on the phone, you don't see my picture unless you're flashing the picture of the book up, which I'm hoping you are. I was going to email it to you, but I emailed it to you earlier today.
You just put Brandon
I don't know
to work
if Brandon. Ah, right. I knew it was good to have Brandon there.
Yeah, so you have to look at me all the time.
But 8's a homonym for good fortune, and 88 is double good fortune.
Mm-hmm.
So in Mandarin, Ba is 8 and Fa is good fortune.
And
so
8 is also circular.
And 8 is infinity.
Yep. So
limitless.
Limitless
Happiness.
So that's how you came up with 88%.
Correct.
Now, they say this is 8 ways, is a cross between I'm okay, you're okay, you're still okay, and don't sweat the small stuff and the big stuff.
Yes.
Which is, tell me about those.
Yes. So a lot of us suffer from the critic. And it's an internalized voice that tells us, you shouldn't have said that, you should have said that. You should have done that, you shouldn't have done that. And it's a constant bashing of ourselves, largely due to early, somebody was criticizing us for something, and then we don't need that person anymore. We've internalized that critic. And so there's exercises in the book to name your critic in order to soothe it and stop it from driving your life car off of a cliff. Because if you're only living by that critic,
there's your book, by the way.
In a very good place. Oh, yay!
Book
it's
is up
I'm
there.
not on the channel. Perfect.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to address that critic who is usually the one that helps sabotage you, or keeps you in bed with the covers over your head, eating bonbons, because you've given up and there's no more hope. So part of the work in the book is to grow your balance-centered self. Grow the one who's really you. Grow the one who's uniquely has talents, gifts, and abilities that are just yours, so you can be happy 88% of the time and then use those gifts to serve and to help and leave this world a little better than when we found it. And that's the real reason why we're here on the planet. It's not just to collect toys. It's not just to, follow the American dream, which used to say that if you went to a good school, got good grades, got a good job, got married, had kids, had a beautiful house and a car, and then died and left your stuff to your kids, that was the American dream. Well, most of us these days are in an American nightmare. The house foreclosed, you're sick, your kids are on drugs, you lose your job, 401k gone. That's the American nightmare. And if you start your day listening to the news, except for KCAA, but if you listen to any other news, it's the worst about people. Murder, rape, corruption. And those can set your day in this downward spiral where you, of course, are going to feel bad. Of course, you're going to feel hopeless and fear. And 85% of people going to the doctor these days are diagnosed with stress-related illness. And so we actually contribute to our unhappiness more than we think. So I tell my clients, first thing, don't start the day with the TV on. Start the day with 8 gratitudes. And that's one of the balance tools in the book. Dr. Wayne Dyer said 5, I'm a recovering overachiever. And you 8 specific things that you're grateful for at the beginning of the day, and end the day with 8 specific gratitudes when you lay your head on the pillow.
Kind of like a meditation.
Sandwich the day. Exactly. And if you sandwich your day that way, it's automatically going to be a better day.
Yes.
Because you're not starting worried that the world is going to hell in a handbasket. Can I say that?
Well, you can. And, I have this theory that you create your own universe these days.
Yes.
And you really can create a positive universe for yourself and positive surroundings where, the summer you're on the front porch swing, sipping iced tea and enjoying some good music, good jazz in my case. Or you can get, yourself involved in the 22 and the 55 and the traffic jam. You just have to figure out how to design your life so you can do that. And reading is a great way to do that. And what a perfect book for the middle of the summer here in August as it gets released. This 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are with by Dr. Marissa Pay, who is our show host here on KCA. And we're happy to have her here. As we continue on, I wanted to reintroduce you to people who may just be joining us. She has a book release, and it's coming up August 11th, I believe. Isn't that right? 11th?
Nope, August 7th is the release, but I'm actually having a book signing, and I would love...
Oh, that's right.
I purposely scheduled a book signing at the Barnes & Noble in Redlands.
So it's nearby here.
August the 11th, yes, on purpose, I decided to let's have a book signing close to my folks at KCAA, and that would absolutely involve having you all come over. I'd love to sign your book. Anyone that says that they listen to my show, even though they don't, will get, in addition to the book, a free pack of my motivational cards called 52 Card Pick-Me-Ups, Stacking the Deck for Life Balance with Dr. Marissa. So you get 2 ways to get splattered with more hope and happiness from the Asian Oprah. It's another Asian Oprah giveaway. You get a book, you get a card, and it will definitely make you re-examine and use the power. Power is the best tool you have in this thing called life, the power of focus, the power of choice, because I want everyone to be happy 88% of the time, and I do believe it's possible. I really believe.
That's the Barnes & Noble at Citrus Plaza, which is right next to Mountain Grove Shopping Center, this huge shopping area now. And that's just right on the other side of the Tri-City Center where we are. There's another big shopping center on the other side of the 210 and 10 freeways. Very easy to find us at the 10 and the 210 freeways. And that's at 4 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Yep, and I hope to see you all.
And Dr. Marissa, you're always a joy to have here. And, people, if you haven't been able to tune in and you want to, you can tune in onto her podcasts or on her YouTube channel we have here. And other various places. We have now a YouTube channel just specifically for you, Dr. Marissa.
Yeah,
we've created
fabulous.
We've created a lot of them for our preferred show hosts.
Thank you very much. I love being preferred.
Yes.
And I think I sent you my interview last week, actually. It was an encore with Marianne from Gilligan's Island. So just to name drop a bit. And I've interviewed Tony Tennille. You can actually get red carpet interviews with John Travolta, Halle Berry, Quincy Jones. So a couple names you might know. I've been blessed to get to do some red carpet everywhere now with my KCAA microphone flag, giving us a lot of promotion around the world as well. And I think I don't know if you go to my gallery on my website, drmarissa.tv, you'll see a lot of my mugshot with like the Lieutenant Uhura with the KCAA
from Star Trek
logo on there, Star Trek, Kevin Costner. So go and check that out. And make sure you always keep it tuned to KCAA. And I'm glad that you have your own show. I honestly didn't know that.
It moves around.
Had on the mark?
Yes,
okay.
I've had it for a long time. It moves around, and it goes back and forth. It teeter-totters from KCA subject content like we're having today, or we interviewed the Boy Scouts executive director here, now being the Scouts of America, and because they're accepting girls in there now too.
Awesome.
And awesome. And then sometimes it's a little political, I'll be honest with you. And other times it's just about things going on in the community. So it floats around wherever there's a spot or a time. I usually have once a week. And, if they don't sell the hour out from under me, I've got it for a while. If we sell it, then I'm back here. But as the general manager of the radio station, I kind of go with the flow, so to speak.
Yeah.
And speaking, if you want to flow on into Dr. Marissa's world and learn more, because she is a great motivational speaker, she's a corporate psychologist, a life balance coach, and just something more you want in your life, you can go to her Facebook page. She has also a Twitter. And you have an Instagram?
Instagram, yeah, Doc Balance. BOC Balance on Instagram.
Right, and it's www.4balance.org, the number 4balance.org, O-R-G, and you can find all those links on there too. And Dr. Marissa comes to us from Long Beach, and
actually Seal Beach,
California. Seal Beach,
yep.
And
you can actually get the link to the book automatically now at the number 8 Ways to Happiness,
and
so that you don't have to follow any other links.
Right.
So you can pre-order now, and
I bet you if we just Google you, we could find you too.
If you Google Dr. Marissa, I'm actually first, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm doing something right. But I am your personal advocate for more hope and happiness, and I promise if you read through this book and do the exercises, you will never hate yourself the same way again. I promise.
Self-help on steroids, huh?
That's it. That's it.
Without the use of steroids, I guess.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly.
But
I'm very excited because they're saying that this is going to help a lot of people, and that's exactly what I wanted it to do.
And I'm one of those people that has it all figured out.
Of course.
A lot of us think we have it all figured out. But like everything, whether you are a technical person or a teacher, you got to go back into the classroom once in a while and learn a little bit yourself.
Yeah.
And so
there's a chapter actually for you, the normal people, called Out of Perfectionism into Joy. Actually, 2 chapters. And Out of Control into Happiness. So these are the last 2 chapters for people who didn't have trauma, but have this tendency to want everything to be perfect.
Right.
And that in and of itself is sometimes can bring you unhappiness because it's never enough.
Right. If you think you're going to find perfection anywhere, you're going to always be perfect in one thing, finding disappointment, because there is no such thing as perfection. And the beautiful thing about all of this is that if you're a person like me, once in a while you got to sit down, sit back, review, reflect, and say, okay, what direction am I going? But the other thing is that a lot of times, if you're somebody else that people come to as a beacon, what do I do, Mark? Or what do I do, Dr. Marissa? A lot of times you need to have this kind of tool bag with you. Yeah. Sometimes I get asked questions and I'm like, okay, I want to answer this question right, and I don't want to disappoint this person, and this person needs help now, not just from just saying, oh, go get help, professional help. Sometimes that's just not the answer. You have to be there to help other people, and joy and happiness, I believe, is helping other people. And that's the other kind of, rest, sleep, nutrition, exercise, and then reaching out and helping other people.
Absolutely. That's because and it's not for the sacrifice of service. I think some people get that a little backwards. You actually feel good when you do that. So I believe that life is about feeling good, and that's why I do the shows that I do. We're here to have fun and enjoy our lives 88% of the time. And yet we've developed this habit of complaining and whining and seeing the worst, and it's not good. That's why I actually came up with an app called 21 Day Fast from Complaining. So if you're interested in changing your life just by not complaining, we start every first of the month. So round 86 starts August the 1st. So you can find that if you go on the App Store and just Google my name or 21 Day Fast, you'll find no complaints.
Well, complaining is a self-fulfilled prophecy, really. If you're going to complain and you're going to disparage everything, you're going to make it that way, I believe.
That's right.
And habit, you talked about that and you brushed on that a little bit. I do something myself, and that is that I tend to have a lot of goals. And, it's whether, okay, I'm going to build an FM radio station in Yucaipa, which I did. Congratulations to me. Okay, great. I, kept KCAA on the air, and it's doing better all the time, and we're achieving a lot. I did that. That's great, and I'm, involved in the community. That's really good. But then what I forget to do, I fail to do, the big failure is, once in a while you got to plan something nice for yourself or go somewhere. Or do something like buy a book so you can read it in the cool underneath the shade tree or on the front porch with a glass of iced tea or something like that.
Yep.
I fail to plan my fun. and my enjoyment. That's part of it, the whole balance.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. That is exactly true. Because if you are waiting for someone else to say good job or approve or wow, and you can't say that for yourself and reward yourself, it's going to be a pretty anxious time in looking around you. I call it the 88% mark. So you're a goal getter, a goal 0 to 100, and you usually get to 88% mark on every goal. And then the tendencies we have is to keep looking at that 12% gap of what's wrong and what still needs to be done. And that's okay. It gives us the motivation to hit 100, but it's a 10th place. It's not a happy zone. But if we turn around and face the 0 start line and look at the 88% of things that we have done that have gone right, and we feel good about it, that's the balance and the ticket. Because we also see people that way. We don't, we don't say, oh, isn't this person awesome, except when you're first dating. But after a while, you see only the 12% that's bad, wrong, not good enough. And if you just turned at the 88 and saw that person in all the good that they are, it will change your relationship.
That's right. And no one's going to say, hey, Mark, you worked hard the past 6 months. Take a weekend in Palm Springs or go to Disneyland or go to the beach. How many people can raise their hand right now and say they haven't touched the ocean, even though we live within minutes of it, really, most of us, within an hour of it, most of us. When's the last time you touched the ocean or felt the cool mountain air? And so some of that relief, some of that creating your own universe, I believe, is that, and that's that balance. So speaking of that, we've been speaking with Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah, and her wonderful show here on KCAA. And now she's totally confused me about the title of it. Just kidding.
My title of the show is Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get balance with Dr. Marissa, so there's no gossip, no scandal, no K-words, no Kardashian talk at all.
It's so long, that's why I can't remember. But
your reality, your own reality.
Just look for Thursdays at 7 and you'll find it. Or
there you go. Get balance with Dr. Marissa.
Or go to her website at forbalance.org, forbalance.org. She is going to have a book signing here on the 11th of August from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Redlands Barnes & Noble in the Citrus Plaza Shopping Center. And so plan on having some fun there. Plan on going to this book signing. Plan on picking up your copy of the book. Plan on, when you do that, going over to one of the very nice, tasty restaurants. And they have this thing called Made on Demand Pizza, I got to tell you. Anyway, very good.
Are you getting
they have Thai food.
Commercial for them. We'll go get the pizza next time.
And they have Thai food and a fish place there.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah.
I guess that's where we're going.
I guess that's where we're going.
Yeah, I guess where it is. And then you can also go to 8waystohappiness.com for the book link now.
8waystohappiness.com.
Yeah.
Because the name of the book is called 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are.
That's right.
With
thank you so
Dr.
much,
Marissa.
Mark, for having me on your show today.
It's been a pleasure and an honor. And what a great way to spend a very, very hot Monday where it's 106 degrees right here in Redlands.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm glad I'm here in Steel Beach.
But we have air conditioning.
Yeah, lucky you. Well, say hi to everybody, all the fabulous staff over there at KCAA, and make sure you tune in to my show this Thursday at 7. We're having an absolute phenomenal show with the Abilities Recovery Center. We've got hope for anyone that's paralyzed.
All right.
So you'll have to tune in at 7.
Thank you very much. And you've been listening to On the Mark with Mark Westwood, and today with Joe Lyons. Thanks to Joe Lyons. Thanks to the people from the Scouts of America. Thanks also to our lovely guest we just finished up with, Dr. Marissa, the Asian Oprah. Peace in and peace out.
Thank you for listening to On the Mark Live, hosted by Mark Westwood, a weekly show about this station, hot topics, local motion, and the world around us. Join us next week as we hop back on the KCAA Express for another ride on the Mark.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
I'm Tom Busby, CNBC. Another blow to the U.S. newspaper industry. One of New York City's